Hi, it's David here with Future Trading. We're going to look at an hourly, a daily. Of course, that 1 minute, I'm going to try to read that to you for a little bit here. I want to say thank you to Milo, MJ. Thank you so much, my friend, for all the comments that you're leaving here on the channel. Unfortunately, YouTube is not alerting me. I have the option actually set, but it's not getting me the alerts. So there's a little bit of a delay here for me to respond back to you. Nevertheless, you always had an email. You can always contact me there as you've done. And thank you so much for those kind words on yesterday. I really appreciate all the information that you share about how things are going with you, as well as Dimitri, Josh, even Payment. Payment picks up the phone and call me from time to time. I thank each and every one of you again for being here on the channel. If you're new, Fate brought you here. I want to tell you that, and I'm going to try to give you some information that'll change your trading. Loads of information here. I want to go ahead and tell you that this is how far the live candle will pull back before resuming a price action trend. Just need to be able to count to 10 people. That's it. And then the price action method, I use the majority principle, which states that the minority is compelled to follow that chart scale. I'm going to teach you how to look at your hard right edge so you'll know that the market will turn without having to look left. So MJ, Mahalo, I want to tell you, man, that question about that volume stuff, I said, let me do it this way. So I tried to make a couple tools that will help with that. You know what I told you about the volume. I put a video on a private playlist. I'm not going to go into details about that, but I sent you a new link there so you can go ahead and get this update that I made here. I'm going to go over how to actually interact with it. All right, so I'm going to go over that as well so you'll know it's simple, it's not complicated. All right, so this is your hourly. I put the micro contract in here because most people that's holding trades for hours, I'm sure you're not going to do it with the larger contract if you're starting out. If you're starting out, you're not going to do that. So I put the that here, and then I will look at that daily. But here's the rules to the indications. The quick fill one is a 2 bar plot. We are going to look at the real time, and I'm going to give the people here that's wanting to learn how to trade. I'm going to give you the information that you need. I want to say that to you. All right, so it's a 2 bar plot. It appears on the close in. So it will appear in front of the bull bar. So on the top of the bull bar or on the bottom of the bear bar. So it'll show up there, but it requires 2 bars to plot. And it's trying to help you with the trend. That's all I would say. It's trying to help you find out where that's at. All right. And again, it plots on the bottom of the bar. Now, it's designed for larger moves. It actually want to give you the larger move. It's best to take it, once it turns. So when the market turns, it's best to kind of grab that. Hopefully, it's right at the turn as it did here. Hopefully, it's that. It can show up along the way, but I just prefer it to be on the turn. There's another one here. This is the Field Pro. All right, now. This is a single bar plot. Now here's the rules on how to make this work. All right, so price should not close consecutively outside of this bar if it's triggered. So if they run the stop on the back of the bar, you don't want to see them close consecutively outside the back of it. And of course, if it's going to fail, kind of the same thing, that second bar. So it breaks the high of the bar, the lower the bar. The very next one may reverse and go right back, okay, in the opposite direction. And that would appear on the back of the bar. All right, so on the open end. So it will show up on the back side of that bar. You had one here on the back side of the bar, okay, on the back side of the bar. This is the trend finder, the quick field trend finder, but they managed to just poke its head right through. On the NQ, you actually have one on the back of this bar for the Volume Pro. So they just overshot that signal and then recovered real quickly. But I'm going to show you the micro because, again, most people are not going to hold trades that long. So as you can tell with this bar here, they went outside the top, came back down, but then played right outside that low, went outside and then recovered immediately. And then they leaned over. There's that signal again. That's a single bar plot. Leaned over into it. They tried to give you a trend back down, but it just didn't hold. Turn the corner. Here's a single bar plot pushed up. Now, here's what it looks like currently. You had the single bar plot come in here. That's the Volume Field Pro. They played outside the low, came right through the top. Okay, they gave you one up, one back down, and then, of course, turn that corner. Same thing here. Kind of poked this head beneath that bar. It got up in front of it, gave you one, and then they tried to get back into it. They did, and they tried to fall back down into it, but it just couldn't make it immediately. But you can see the rejection there. And of course, they're banging their head up against this one. Okay, that's that Volume Field Pro single bar plot. And so after that recovery there, they gave it back to you one more time. And then, of course, yesterday we kind of moved right up to the back of this one. We triggered this one. You can kind of see that they broke it, but they just wouldn't close above it. And then they tried to give you that up, but that is not working. And then they trapped it. All right. So there you have it. All right. So that's on the hourly. All right. So now here's your daily. All right. This is your daily. Again, I just put this together for you. So hopefully you can use it. I know these bars are pretty large, so you may want to use this one so you can kind of step in front of it. That's all. So if it goes outside the bar, hurry up and recover and let's get back to it. All right, same thing. Single bar plot, then the dual plot came in. All right, so that's that 2 bar plot, quick trend finder. So this is the trend finder. This bar closed, that signal comes on and say, hey, they're trying to trend. And then of course it tried to get back to it here. It tried to, but it just didn't work, and that's really bad. And so then it fell down. Remember, this is the single bar plot is on the back of the bar. Anything that's on the back of the bar is the Valium Field Pro. All right, and that's a single bar plot. They went above it, came right back through. All right, and then of course, you have they're working in tandem. Working in tandem, that's important. They pulled up to it and dropped back down, and then of course they turned the corner. All right, so now you got 2 here, so that's the quick fill. They pushed up just a bit, but again, they're up here. They're up here. They're absolutely up there. They kind of leaned back down, got back to this bar here. What is the low? So we got a low 850, 850. You can just look up here. Matter of fact, 850. Okay, so low. So yeah, 87. 58, yeah, they didn't break it, kind of swung back up there. And then, of course, here it got real messy up here. All right, it got real messy. As you can tell, they overshot the bar, came back in, and just gave you a bunch of fun. That's all. They overshot this one through the bottom, then recovered, brought it back up, went above that bar, brought it back in, and then they gave you another one here, overshot it from both sides. Okay, so this is important. I'm trying to incorporate that volume thing that you like. All right, so and then of course it turns the corner, and then this is what we're dealing with now. But I've been told you guys. I told you guys. If you go back to the homepage video, if you're new, go back to this homepage video. This is you can do this without indications, even though I have them. You can do it without indications. You know how to read a chart. In this video, I go over all of that of when it was going to turn, when it was on this bar, and when it was going to turn, how far it should go down. I even told people in the community that it would turn back up, and they fell right into a little zone turn. And I had a zone up here for when it was going to come back up, and they ran right into it and turned again. So you can know the market is going to turn without these indications here. I just want to tell you that. I told you I doubt they'll even get past this bar right here, and I told you that they should go through this bottom. But here's an indication right here. It's the trend finder. Okay, that's the trend finder. The 2 bar setup. They pulled up. Here's all that nasty business down here in that bottom. You got that the Valiant Field Pro. They ran down to it. They tried to give you the trend finder to get up, but it's not working. All right, so just know that's what we're dealing with. All right, now this is the information for today, and then we're going to move on really briefly here. If you don't know what a trend is 7 bars closing lower than the prior. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's 7. All right, so that's 7. You measure that center of the trend, cost of the thought. The market is like you and I. Whenever you have a thought, you have the end in mind. You have the end in mind. The market behaves the same way. So when it wants to trend, it will go the trend distance more often than not. I'll just say it that way. Be careful though. The moment it hits the trend distance, it can turn. So the moment you meet your goal and what you want to acquire for yourself, you tend to think of something else you want to do, right? All right, so the market works the same way. It's just a decision place, and I want to help you make better decisions. That's all. All right, and so the same information with these indications, just follow along. All right, so you had them working in tandem here. Remember, this is a 1 bar plot. Working in tandem is 2. So when these 2 bars form, again, single bar plot on the back of the bar. So when it's on the back of the bar, that's the single bar plot. If it's in front of the bar, where the close is at, that is the 2 bar. All right, and then it got down here and got really messy. So you're getting single bar plots here, and so they're running outside that bar, coming back through. Okay, now here they overshot this one, but they couldn't make it back in there. They just couldn't make it back in there right away. That's okay. That's okay. And of course, again, if you see them on the bottom of the bar, they can kind of do that up and down. They're working in tandem here. So they pulled up. Here's your news. Here's your news. They jumped up. They made a trend here, but you know, it turned around. It just wanted to go the other way. So let's draw it out. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you got 7. You don't count these. Don't count those green bars. They're not higher than this one. All right. So just don't do that. All right. So you go 7, kind of do it like this. Okay, now it made that distance, but the problem is they didn't want to get back up there. All right, so just to show you how to do it, and then of course it turned back around and it failed. Now, here are the indications from this turn down here. And then, of course, here's your trend. And then the center of the trend, your cost of the thought, and how far it plans to go. They did get really close. They got really close. They just didn't hit it. That's all. But it got really, really close. All right. So if you want to see the indications, there they are. All right. Single bar plot on the back side of the bar. They overshot the bar. Okay. They overshot the bar. One down, one back up. All right. And then, of course, here, Trend Finder kicked in when two of these bars came in. They leaned over into it. Okay. Now, again, you can fade this bar if you want. You got to know how to do it. That's all. You got to know how to do it. So when you came into this low with this square here, okay, that's a two bar plot. I'm sorry, that's the two bar plot. You had the two bar plot here. But when you came into this low, if you see these here, just be careful. They were trying to work in tandem. So I do understand why this move got like that. I get that. All right, so they really went up to the upside here. You had it here. They played below, went above, and just pushed up even higher. Then they came in tandem. Boom, they dropped down. And then, of course, right down here, they turned the corner, same thing. Just try to keep up with the signal. I'm gonna scroll through the chart. I'm not gonna go through each one. I just want to let you see what you have. All right. So please use that link, MJ. Go ahead and take that information there, and you can apply that to your analysis of value. I'm indifferent about it. You can trade a chart without it. All right. Just want to tell you that. All right. So here's the indications if you want to look at it. And it's just two of them. All right, it's just two of them. If you are not finding this one in your indicator list, you would have to incur a cost. I would just want to tell you that. All right, so if you're not finding it, only if you're not finding it, you'll have to incur that cost. All right, so now, center of the chart, for those that's new, I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. The upper part of your chart is here. I'm just eyeballing this, people, eyeballing this. And then the lower half of your chart is here. All right, so the lower half of your chart is there. All right, so now, can they go back up? They could if they want. So we got one, two, three. That's four. That's five. They needed two more, and that didn't show up. So they're still down. So they turned the corner. Now, in most cases, this is what you're going to find. All right, the bar coloring. All right, if you're new, we want the bars mid. This live candle that's jumping up and down, going up and down. We want the mid of this bar to exceed that prior bar. All right. We want the mid of this bar, okay, to exceed that prior bar. That's all we're looking for. And then the bar turns that color once it happens. Now, you can do this in real time. You don't have to wait until the bar closes, but you just want to ensure that the mid of that candle is exceeding that prior candle. That's it. That's one way majority shows up on the chart. Here's your other. All right, so now you get a wick and you get a smaller wick. That's the second way it can show up on the chart. Now here's your third one right here. I'm gonna give you your third one right here. Let's do it right here. You get a small body, you want a bigger body. All right, now you need to fit that body inside of there at least twice. And that is your majority on the chart. All right, majority is the only thing that gets price to move. You had it all here. All right, now there's another indication that I have called increase that will find this scenario. It will find this information for you. It's not going to get it all, but it would do its best to find it for you. All right, so that's all of it. Big wick, little wick, got body, can fit in there twice, mid fell below that low. That's all of it. All right, so try to find the scenarios with all of it. All right, if you can find that, fantastic. You're really working with something dynamic. All right, so here's all of it. Big wick, no wick, body small, mid fell beneath that low. That's all of it. Now, when this happens, all right, so when this happens, it's just like the trend and the trend distance. It can go that far. All right, just make it simple. Don't make it complicated. All right, now let's see if they want to revisit this bottom. I think they can get back down under here. I do. They hit the center, the lower half of the chart. Notice they pull right up on it, so you can know that the market can turn without having to look what left. All right, there's nothing over here for you, to be quite honest with you, unless you're doing that type of analysis. I'll say that. But if you want to enter, if you're trying to enter on price, you definitely want to pay attention to the hard right edge, your bezel. So this is your bezel, your upper part of your chart, and your lower part of your chart is your bezel. You're wanting to make sure that you stay on that hard right edge if you're trying to enter the market. All right, if you want to take an entry, pay attention to that. And that's how you read your frame. All right, this is just a frame that holds a picture. So the picture is fluid, it changes. All right, it changes, and you need to know how to read while it's changing. All right, because it's not going to always stay static in one place clearly. All right, market does tend to move, kind of to the side. And should it do that, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what you need to look for. So we have our majority. This is what we're looking for to get price to run. There's a few things that you can find to know that price is not going to run, but I'm going to give you the simplest version possible. All right. Sometimes the market does this, it gives you a bar and then it gives you at least four inside of bodies inside of that bar. Okay. That's the market not running. All right. It's not running. So you have it here. See this? See this? You ended up getting at least four inside of there. All right, that's it not wanting to run. All right, here you go. You got at least four inside of there. All right, so that's another way to know that you may be running into a bit of a problem. That's all. So are we going to get it all here? If that blue line falls beneath that low, okay, the bar will turn green and then the market should go at least, we're going to estimate to at least here. And I know they should get through this. There's no question about that. I think they absolutely can get through this. All right, so yeah, so that's saying that it can go that far. Once they blow through here, should they do it while I'm up here, I will let you go. All right, let's see if any of these indications can pop on. Let's see if that can show up. You had them in tandem here. All right, they were working together. You had it here. They poked their head below it as well as above it. But typically they go ahead and drop. Okay, but they poked their head below it and hurry up and recover back up. It's tried to give you the upside, but that failed. Now that's bad. So when they absorb that, that's really, really bad. I just want to tell you that. Absolutely horrible. So single bar plot on the back side of the bar. So if you get this, is on the back side of the bar is a single bar plot. Go ahead and go with them. All right. Let's see if it can get here. Hopefully it won't take too long. I see they're moving a bit slow, but I wanted to come back and say thank you for that email, my friend. Thank you for your comments on YouTube. Thank you so much for your contributions. And Dimitri as well. Again, send me emails, really just conveying me, their experience. And I'm so thankful for each one of you that does that, that's willing to share your experience with me. I'm doing the best that I can to give you information that works. All right. And again, I'm not going to change it. I definitely appreciate that comment on that video. The market moves based on a principle. All right. It's called majority. All right. It forces the minority to follow. All right. So it uses greater force. So that's what you need to find in the chart. They're trying to do it back to the upside here. All right. So you have to see if you can find that in the chart. That bar should turn green. Now, if they're going to go up, that's saying they're coming right back up here. All right. Now, if they want to just trade in this little area here, that's fine. If you're going to try to catch the live candle, preferably take it from the colored bar with its threshold. So that those two little black lines on that candle, that's the place I would like to see price come into and then turn around. So if it's going to turn around, I know they're putting that scenario on this side as well. As you can see, the bar turned green. You have the big wig, but the body cannot fit in there twice. So hopefully you have all three here. All three is here. So hopefully they can turn it right back around and drop it back down here into this target here. All right. So you got two, but it's not three. So let's see what these sellers can do for this. Let's see if they can bring them right back through those buyers and get down here to this target. All right, now notice we're still beneath the lower half of our chart. Still beneath the lower half of our chart. If you're going to try to take a live trade, try to do it from the wick zone. And there's other videos I talk about this. You will see price come into the candle clearly and then take off. You'll see price come into the candle and then take off. All right. So that's what we're looking for. All right. And preferably with all of it. So hopefully everything has showed up to help the trade along. Now, if they're going to do it, let's say they're going to do it to the upside. Let's just say they want to go up more. This is your wick zone from this side. Those two little black lines on the candle, there could be a response here and they could bring it back up and say, hey, no, we're actually going to go back up to the lower half of this chart. Now, again, I like thresholds because this is your wick zone. I prefer them on the red bar, okay, or on the green bar for that matter. You can do it from any bar if you would like to. I just want to go ahead and tell you that. Whichever bar you want to do it from, go ahead and just knock yourself right out with that. The problem I would tell you with doing it with every bar, all bars are not created equal, even though they're on the chart. They're not. Uh, the intent behind the movement is not always what you see. I just want to tell you there's a couple variables there. So just make sure you utilize some simple understanding about price. That's all. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So when you look at the chart, you can kind of rest assured there's a behavior to it. Okay. Because people are trading it. Machines got to be coded by, people. And there's information it has to give to the machine. And if the market is going to turn, it's going to happen right in front of you. So this frame right here, from top to bottom, you're going to see what's going to take place. So you don't have to wonder. You can know. They have to do it in front of you, so it's going to happen in this frame. And let's just go 50-50 on a coin toss. Here's half the chart. Okay, stay beneath half the chart. Do me one even better, and don't make a trend. How about that? Because if you make a trend, you may get above the mid of the chart. Stay beneath the lower half of the chart. Let's just make it simple. Don't make it complicated. All right. They're just trying to sit here. I want to see. We're not going to probably stay here all the way until they get down here, because they didn't already burnt up like 5 minutes just sitting right in this little area here. Hopefully we okay. There's okay. Now it will this that signal, that one. Okay. Will they, do the one outside and then turn back around? Will they do that? Or are they going to honor this bar and just go ahead and take off? Again, it can happen from either side. The next two candles are critical. Okay, so what they're going to do below this price, I don't know. Let's see. Or are they setting it up for this same kind of activity? Notice your big wig, the body is smaller, so it'll be easy to get that mid below that low. Okay, hopefully they'll do that. Hopefully, let's see. As you can see, they've been stuck right between those wick zones. See, that's our wick zone. They've been as slow and boring as this is. Okay, I know it's not really moving, but this is an example that you guys can begin to implement day to day, in live activity. Okay, so now we got them trying to work in tandem. I don't know about that. Let's see, because this didn't meet the criteria for all of it. It didn't. So they're still hanging out in this wick zone here. So they're still hanging here. But remember, I told you it can be, one through the bottom and then come right back. Okay, it can do that. It can give you that one, this. Go with the rules. Remember, make it simple. I try to make indications that's simple, even though, again, I'm incorporating a couple things, value being one of them. I'm trying to incorporate a couple things to make it fun for you. Indications are just that, indicating something. You should already know how to trade. Don't expect my indicators, or nobody indicators for that matter, to get you profitable. That's not how it works. So make sure you understand how to read price. It's really important. I spent a lot of years, a lot of money to learn how. So please ensure that you do the same. Spend some time. If you would like to purchase the indicator suite, is there for you. $100. You can have well over 300 indicators. Don't go somewhere and spend 300 for one indicator. You can get 300 indicators for $100. That makes sense. And if you would like, you can definitely be a part of the educational or private education there. I'll add you to the playlist should you want to go that far. For the price of an indicator, you can get education that matters. All right, tell you some of the other little nuances about price that can definitely change how you look at the chart. All right, so yeah, they're honoring that bar as well as the signals. So you got both signals working in tandem. I didn't think that would fare too well. I like this one on a turn. So you turn the market, let's get to it. Kind of up here. You turn the market, let's get to it. I don't like it coming in too far down the board. I don't. Can it make it to its distance? I know it kind of kidnapped us here for minutes on end, but can it make it to its distance? I hope you guys have been keeping up with this. Everything I'm saying, I hope you're keeping up and keeping track of it. Don't let the chart fool you. It's up to something. That's all. It's up to something, and it plans to go somewhere. So they stopped this bar out. They got halfway to our target. Now they're giving us the big wick. Okay, they're giving us the big wick. Now they can turn it into this, where it's a small body, bigger body, so they can increase this back down if they want to. If they want to, or they can go big wick, little wick, and then run it back up. It can be either. The key is that they held this without breaking it. They got halfway to where it wanted to go. All right. I know this bar turned red, but that's just this. Okay, that's just this. That's not all of it. And it's not two of them. It's just well, actually, it's two. You got a bigger wick, smaller wick there. Can they hold the back of this bar? I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no idea. But for that turn there and that they made, they came into the wick zone. Your signal came in. They gave you something. Yeah, they're trying to head back this way. They just didn't get the mid. So you got your big wick, small wick. You got your body being able to fit in there twice. I'm not going to stay up here any longer, people. So I don't want to hold the video any longer. I'm pretty certain if they're going to hold this, they'll end up down here. They're just pulling back, back to that signal. I'm more than certain that that's, the case if they're going to hold this pattern here. They're just pulling back into that signal, kind of shake everybody that maybe sold here, sold there, drive back against them, just giving you how it behaves, okay, giving you how it behaves. And then they put your four. Remember, we talked about this, okay, so please keep up. We talked about this, all right. They did that one. Okay, let me get something different here. They did that one with this bar, okay. You see all four of those bodies, okay, inside of that one, okay. So they kind of stalled us out here, okay. Now you're getting that signal again, we would have to see, but I'm not going to stay up here with it. So hopefully it'll go ahead and just take this back out, take this back out and get here and hit that target, go under here. I do believe they're going under there. And God knows if they get here, they're going back below that low there. So that's my time with you again. If you need anything, people here that's on the playlist here, I mean, on my channel, I have a playlist available to you if you need further education. I'm not going to be up here delivering videos every day, every week. I'm not doing any of that. I want to tell you that because there's information that I provide if you're wanting to further your education. All right. Providing information is a job. All right. We just want to tell you that. So if you're interested in more education, it's there for you. If you would like the indicator suite, again, I've put in front of you guys several different little tools I done put together to throw in the indicator list, all in which I want to tell you will not make you a better trader. You absolutely need to know how to trade. All right. The channel is here to lay a foundation. It's just a foundation place, all right, for you to get at least something out the market until you can build your account and kind of get to where you want to go. And then you can select, however you want to go about education from that point. But I do advise you, don't take the long route. I did that, and I'm trying to make sure that you don't have to. All right. And if you don't know God, please get to know him. I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.